You know what I want? I want men to bring back the art of approaching women. It's completely lost. I feel like men don't do it anymore. And I'm not talking about like those creepy guys that come up to you and like hit on you and they're gross and disgusting and it's like never a positive interaction. I'm talking about like normal day-to-day guys. Like a guy who just likes a girl, thinks she's pretty, and walks up to her and just talks to her and creates conversation. And it's just like this normal freaking conversation. I don't know what happened. I don't know what disconnected them, but I feel like so many more men have become terrified of rejection to the point where it has stunted them. I feel like, guys, if you were to approach more women, you guys would not get shot down as much as you think you would. Matter of fact, like I was approached at the grocery store by this really cute guy who just walked up to me and just like asked me a question and then just started talking to me. And because of that confidence, because he did that, it interested me so much that I was like, here's my number. Any other time, like if he had just walked by, I would have been like, whatever. But the fact that he went out of his way to do something like that impressed me. And so many women want that. Like masculine energy is supposed to be forward movement and action. You guys are supposed to lead. Like I feel like so many men have lost that.
Now it's time to preach. This is real talk. Are you ready? Are you reading? Make some noise.
You know what pisses me off? I don't know if they just pretend not to know. If they do it intentionally so that we can talk about it, just to get us talking about it. Or they're just so delusional that they can't even see the writing on the wall. But guys like me will repeat it every day for them to get it straight. And at this point, the only relevant and fair question that everyone should be asking should be, who created this environment? The environment where millions of men decided that it was not fair game anymore, that it wasn't worth it anymore to date. Who created that environment? Because that's the right question you should be asking. When you start asking right questions, there are chances you get right answers. And then there are possibilities you get a solution. Bro, just imagine for a moment that someone keeps telling you to touch a hot stove. After you have touched it and get burnt over and over again, eventually you become smart and you stop. Not because you are weak, but because you are smart enough to know that when you touch again, you are going to get burnt. And that's exactly what's happening in modern dating. For years, men were told to leave women alone, to not be creepy, to not bother women. Now, suddenly, we are hearing, why are men not approaching anymore? Which one is which? Because when you talk the first time, when you spend the last 2 decades telling men not to approach, men listened. Bro, if you're new here and you're tired of getting men's experiences being ignored, smash the subscribe button because you're in the right place. Here, we say what a lot of men are already thinking, but rarely say it out loud. So we speak for men and for masculinity. Now, to begin with, let's be fair. I actually agree with one thing she said. She said confidence is attractive. That's true. And a lot of men know that. Walking up to someone respectfully and starting conversations, that's the oldest way of people mating. It has always been like this for decades, for centuries. So that part alone is not controversial. But here's where the conversation usually stops. And this is where real conversations should begin. I want you to remember what that lady said. Either she does not even understand what's happening, or she might never understand what's happening when she starts her conversation by talking about men being afraid of rejection. What the F? Is rejection part of the game? Absolutely. Rejection has always existed. Our fathers got rejected. Our grandfathers got rejected. Men have dealt with rejection for thousands of years. So if rejection is not new, then something definitely changed. And what's it? What changed? The thing that changed is the environment. That is what changed. The environment changed. Today's average man is not only thinking, what if she says no? He's also thinking, what if someone records me and put on social media? What if she calls me creepy simply because she's not interested? What if someone takes what I'm saying out of context? Even if those outcomes are uncommon, actually, they are very common now. Before they were uncommon, but now they are very common, especially with the arrival of social media. Just the thought of that happening frightens a lot of men and it shapes behavior. So when the perceived downside feels bigger than the reward itself, it's not worth it trying. Guys just decide not to take that risk. Now, here's another thing. People love saying women want comfortable men. Okay, but confidence does not grow in a vacuum. If every interaction feels like walking on a minefield, if everything feels like walking on eggshells, like auditioning for a role where the recruiter already hates you, or where the recruiter already have doubts and suspicions against you, where you are being judged for something you did not even do, or something you don't even know existed, of course confidence disappears. The desire disappears. Now let's throw in technology into the discussion. Years ago, if you wanted to meet someone, you actually had to talk. You actually had to walk up to them. You shot your shots respectfully. It was either a yes or a no, respectfully. Now with dating apps, now with social media, Instagram, TikTok, Snap, DMs, people have replaced face to face with screen conversations. So everyone has become less socially skilled, and it's not just men. And we all know when it comes to DMs and social medias, it's easy for things to be taken out of context. And when it concerns a man, it's fastly taken out of context, and he's never given the chance to explain himself. As compared to if it was a one on one conversation and there was something that was misunderstood, he will clarify himself there and then. So you see where social media and dating apps have taken us to, and you still want to blame men. But here's something men understand immediately. Imagine applying for a job where 99% of the companies ignore you completely. One of them instead insults you, and then one of them takes centuries to reply, if they reply. Eventually, as someone who is smart, as someone who is intelligent, you stop applying because it's not worth it. The ones that even respond to you, they give you some kind of crazy demands. They ask to work 24/7, no off days, no holidays, no salary, no insurance, nothing. Why will you keep applying for such a job? Eventually, you stop. Not because you are weak or not because you don't want to work, simply because you don't care anymore. Because your brain tells you this doesn't seem worth the effort. And many men feel like that's what dating today has become. That's why they're opting out. That's why they don't even care approaching. That's why they're not getting married. Because it's not worth it anymore. Now, here's where I think some men also need to hear the truth. If you've completely stopped talking to women because you're simply terrified, it's not healthy either. Because social skills are like muscle. If you don't use them, you lose them. Approaching doesn't have to mean flirting. Talk to the cashier. Talk to the old man in the gym. Talk to your barber. Talk to people everywhere. Become comfortable talking to human beings first, because that makes everything else easier. Now, back again to that lady. One thing I found interesting is that she says women miss being approached. And I believe some genuinely do. But women aren't a single group. Some appreciate respectful approaches. Some don't at all. Some prefer meeting through friends. Some prefer meeting through apps. Some don't want to be approached while running errands. I mean, there is no universal rule. That's why men have to use judgment, analyze the situation, and accept no. This is for men who still think dating is worth it. Others have completely signed out because they have been burnt, they have been cheated on, they have invested everything they've had, and they have lost everything, they have been betrayed, they have been disrespected. So for them, it's not even in the discussions anymore. The last part I said was for men who still think dating is worth it. Because there are men who watch this channel who still think dating is worth it. So I speak to those who don't want to date at all, and for those who still think dating is worth it. But the bigger lesson I want every man to learn from here is that men should not approach simply because society tells them to approach. No, don't do that. Same as men should not stop approaching because social media told them to stop approaching. No, do it because you think it's not worth it. Do it because you think the juice is not worth the squeeze. Do it because you want to focus on yourself. You want to build your own resources. You want to be an independent guy who takes care of everything around him. Do it because you think so, not because someone else is telling you not to. Make decisions that fit your own value. Respect other people, and then accept that not every interaction will go well. Being respectful, reading the room, and accepting rejection gracefully are skills you need to learn. Every man needs to learn, whether they're dating or not. Because if you can learn to accept rejection, it works in jobs, it works in if you want to sign contracts, it works in every area of your life. When you accept rejection gracefully, when you learn to accept rejection gracefully, it helps you in every aspect of your life.
Brothers, we stand united. Together we are unstoppable. Feel the power. Let's light up the night for the brotherhood. Brotherhood, light it up.
Listen, bro, if you enjoy conversations that go deeper than the headlines, that go deeper than what YouTube can spread and share, then join the membership, because there we provide content that speaks to men, that is meant only for men, that YouTube would not even like to share. So join the membership, buy the merch to support the channel. Let's just grow together. Thank you for being here. Now, the biggest problem is not that men forgot how to approach. It's that trust between men and women have become weaker because men have been falsely accused for things they have not done, for things they didn't even think of doing, simply because they approached. So they approached in good faith and they paid the price. They were destroyed. Men have approached respectfully, but because the woman thought the guy was not handsome or that the guy was not rich enough, she did not like the guy. She called him creepy. She insinuated that he was about to do something that was not even in his mind. And other men learned from that. They simply stop approaching because they don't know how you are going to take it as a woman. So there is no trust. And when trust goes down, fear goes up. Everyone stays at home wondering why no one is talking to each other. Now listen, bro, if you're in the process of building yourself mentally, don't forget your physical well-being. Because having a strong physical body is one of the most important things that will make you stand out. That's why I'm advising you to go check out my fitness channel. There we are going to be talking only about men, testosterone, weight loss, fitness for men, exercises for men, everything that has to do with men's well-being. So if that's what you want to achieve, check out this my channel. And if you're completely signing out of dating unapologetically, I'll help you decide if you are doing it right or wrong, if that's the best decision or not. And that's by giving you something I prepared specifically for that goal. It's called the opt-out decision test. It's on the first comment below. It's free. It's a mirror. It's not some kind of motivation. It's a mirror that will help you decide if you're opting out based on logic or based on emotion. Again, it's free. And it's on the first comment below. Now tell me in the comment section, do you think men really stop approaching women because of fear of rejection? Or because of the change of the social environment? Let me know. And before you leave, don't forget to click on this video. You think this one was crazy? The next video is going to open up your mind because we are here to learn and to progress. Thank you for being here. Smash that subscribe button. Share with your brother who needs to watch this. Hype the video, comment, engage. Let's make this thing go wild. Thank you so much. See you in the next one. Copy that.
Let's dance! Fireworks! We won!